Hello everybody, this is Oak Tree Tarot Reader here and welcome to my Pick a Card video. Today the subject is what in my life should I be paying attention to at the moment. This can be in any area of your life, love life, work life, just general life, friendships, family, connections, whatever. So it's going to be very generalized in my interpretation of the cards, so you must apply the messages as you see fit. Take what resonates, ignore which doesn't seem to fit into your life at the moment, and just take what you feel you can make use of. We have options 1, option 2, option 3 and option 4. I'm going to be putting the timestamps to these 4 readings in the description box and pinning it as top comment for those of you on mobile devices. I'm also going to put in the description box all of my various contact details and links in case for those of you that are interested to see them or contact me and whatever. But what I want you to do is just sort of generally relax, think about your life, take a few deep breaths, meditate a little, clear your mind and think about various aspects of your life. And sort of when you feel ready, make your choice. Don't overthink it, always trust your instincts. If you want a little bit more time, then please press pause because I am now going to be moving on to the first reading. Thank you. Alright, those of you that chose option 1, here is your reading. I've just shuffled out 4 cards and I'm going to possibly link them together, but definitely read them individually in terms of what you should be paying attention to in your life at this moment in time. 10 of Swords, Tower, don't panic, don't panic. The Queen of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. Okay then, so definitely changes are needed in your life at this moment, either in the area that you're specifically thinking about or again more generally, but I see 2 possibilities with the 10 of Swords and the Tower, like together or individually, which is that something has ended in your life and you've really got to pay attention to it. It might, for some of you, it might not necessarily seem particularly significant, but it is. But I suspect for the majority of you, you immediately know what's coming to an end and it's just sort of over and that you need to pay attention to it. Well, the message is yes, absolutely pay attention to this. It's reassuring you that it is over. The 10 of Swords really is the end of the line. It's like dead in the water. It's done. It's dusted. So in a way, take a bit of positivity from that in that the worst is over. There isn't any more that can be said. I mean, swords represent thoughts and words and things you say. And so all there is to be said has been said. There can't be any more meetings about it. There can't be any more discussions. The final choice has been made, really. And for some of you, yeah, it's like mentally devastating in particular, but also probably emotionally devastating. And you need to focus on that and focus, my advice would be on accepting that it's over and beginning to heal. Because it isn't a permanent state that you're stuck for the rest of your life with the 10 swords stuck in your back. It's just, they're going to come out and you will heal and walk up and move on and carry on again. This is just, it's the finality of it. There's a sense of rebuilding here from my perspective, that it's time now that that's over, it's time to rebuild. And also it's got rid of all the rubbish. It's got rid of the things that you don't need anymore and left you with the foundation of the things that are good for you, are important to you. And that will be the grounding from which you rebuild your new life. You will rebuild a new tower and it will stand better and stronger than the old one. So now focus on rebuilding your life, your career, your love life, your family life, your friendships. For some of you, some aspect of that relationship or situation has ended, but there's still something there to carry on with. Now, for others of you where you're saying, what? No, nothing's ended. Oh my God, does that mean it's going to happen? No, don't panic. It just means that now's the time to think about ending something, of having the final say, of just finishing it, accepting it's over, ending it literally, and about tearing down the things that don't serve you anymore, making a big life change. Some of you are just ripe to begin again. I've got to say, that's my overall feeling for the combination of the 4 cards, is it's time to start again from scratch, from afresh, to let the old die, let the old, that, you know, the crumbling brickwork that isn't going to keep the rain out, that isn't going to protect you or keep you warm and provide a stable life for you. Let it get knocked down, pick up the bricks, clean them off, and reuse them to build a new building. You know, that's the message. Some of you know what's not good anymore in your life, and the message is now focus on how are you going to sort this out. What are you going to get rid of? What are you going to dismiss? And what kind of life are you going to rebuild for yourself? Now, we've got a queen here and a page. So in terms of you and your internal journey, you've got to speak your truth. The Queen of Swords is a truth speaker. She doesn't hold back. This is why she's sometimes seen as blunt, because she doesn't see any need to be subtle, to use flowery language, to use subtext or anything like that. She's not going to cloud the issue. She's going to clear them away. The clouds are at the bottom, but her mind, her voice, her sword is high up in the air above all the clouds. So it's about seeing a truth. This is why I'm saying, you know, some of you need to see a truth of something, to have sort of a eureka moment of taking off the rose-tinted glasses, or seeing that a situation that you thought perhaps was going very, very well, you suddenly think, oh my God, it was not going well at all. I misread this situation. You know, sometimes it's not having all the information, and I realise actually, no, this is all wrong, and I've got to, you know, you've had a flash of lightning, which is just a moment almost of genius that you can suddenly see clearly. The night sky was dark until the lightning hit the tower and lit the sky up with fire. And that's that moment of where, you know, ideas and thoughts and intentions are burnt away. So you need to focus on finding out the truth and also speaking your truth. And that's what this means. It might come across that you're being a bit heartless, a bit callous, a bit blunt, but it's sort of straight speaking. You know, it's not causing any confusion. You know, subtlety is great and it's a rich vein for our imaginations, but sometimes you just have to come out and say yes or no, not maybe. And so for some of you, you're going to be saying, it's done, it's over, I'm starting again, in whatever aspect this is. Others of you have felt that that's happened, and you have to see the truth of it and speak the truth of what you want for the future. It's not about pleasing other people, and it's not actually necessarily about pleasing yourself. It's trying to make the best out of potentially a bad situation. You're going to be back to the drawing board, really. The Page of Pentacles is the card of the student. You know, learning new skills, learning new crafts, getting back to the sort of foundation of tangible goods, energies. This is like the person that learns how to like craft things, or begins work in a garage or something like that. And I feel this is symbolic of the starting again in your life. So some of you, it is sort of saying it's over and accepting that you're going to be moving into your own place, and you're going to have to learn to be a single person again, for example. Others of you, it's about work, and you've got to learn how to be in the job marketplace again. You've got to learn, brush up your CV or your resume, and learn what employers want these days. And, you know, this could represent writing it up and sort of speaking, well, this is what I'm capable of, this is my experience. And this is what you need to focus on, starting again after this sense of ending, through your hands or because it's happened to you. Now, because these are two cards representative of people, a queen and a page, I'm going to describe them just in case the message resonates for you, as you need to look to a particular person in your life. And again, this could be not necessarily because they're going to bring trouble to your door or they're a problem for you, but maybe they're in your life and you need to just check in on them and say, you okay? I haven't heard from you in ages, and they might need you. Because we've got the Queen of Swords, and again, I've described her as somebody who's a straight talker. She can be seen as blunt and heartless, but really she's just not going to mess around. She's going to come straight to the point. She's a yes or a no and not a maybe person. Sometimes, yes, it can represent mother because she's a queen, but it doesn't have to be. And this is such a general reading. It could be a man in your life, but he's somebody that just doesn't mess around. He doesn't feel the need to hide or be disingenuous. He doesn't need to pretend to you, or she doesn't. And they're mature in themselves. You know, it doesn't mean, you know, it could be a 20-year-old woman or man in your life, and this, you think, gosh, that does make sense. It's about their mental outlook. He's quite mature and sophisticated, but in a clear and truthful way. So you might just need to check in on them and see if there's a communication needed because of the Queen of Swords. Of course, the Page of Pentacles is a student, and I would say that somebody that's sort of younger, again, in their heart, mind and soul, not necessarily their body. But that they're younger, they might be developing new skills, or just at the beginning of a career, or home building, or you're aware that they're really sort of coming forward with a message of their burgeoning prosperity, that they're coming forward and like, oh, I'm just really beginning this business, and I'm just getting it off the ground. And you might need to just see if they're okay. They're someone that's really earthy and grounded and practical. You know, they're not someone who's away with the fairies, and then that's somebody that's overly emotional, and they're not somebody that's desperately, you know, fixed into logic and their mind. They're just somebody that's very grounded. And some of them, yeah, it's about practical skills. So these are the things that you need to pay attention to at this time in your life. Please make of that what you will, but I will leave this message of don't be afraid of this, don't be frightened, because there's a lot of liberation in these two cards. We're also keen to cling to what we've got. We ignore what we can grab onto if we loosen our grip on the things that don't serve us anymore. You know, you can't grasp anything new if your hands are full of the old. You've got to have them empty, so then you can grab on. So yeah, don't be frightened of it, even though it might initially be a tumultuous time for you. It will settle and it will calm, and you will manage to revive your life in whatever way you feel this has applied to it. So those of you that chose option 1, that's your reading. Please take very good care of yourself. I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Let me know in the comments section if this resonates with you. I mean, I know I'm quite slow on the uptake on replying to comments, liking them and loving them and whatever. But I always do read the comments. I always do. So yeah, please leave me a comment to let me know about this. And thank you very much for listening to me. Goodbye. Okay, those of you that chose option 2, this is your reading. So these 4 cards represent areas of your life that you need to look at the moment, and you can apply it to whether it's your love life, work life, generally whatever. I'm going to try and build a narrative between them, but also read them individually. So we've got the King of Wands, the 9 of Swords, we've got the 9 of Wands, and the Three of Pentacles. Okay, so overall, generally the vibe for me is those of you that chose this option, it's to do with work most likely. Your employers, your bosses, your colleagues, and you're really stressed out about it. Because this is a king, I'm initially going to read this as a person, because although I feel this is about you, it is a king card, it is a representative of a person, and this might be somebody that you actually know and you're thinking, well, I haven't spoken to them in quite a while, maybe I should get in contact with them and see how they are. So that's why I'm going to describe this person. But the King of Wands is definitely a mentor and a boss, an employer, your manager, even the owner of the company or the business that you work for. But also it can be a man that's, or a woman, because it's such a general reading, but that they're really important in your life and they're in a way an inspiration to you, because they're full of fire and energy, they're entrepreneurs, they have a sense of control over their own lives, and because it's a wand and it's passion and energy, that's what you see in them or you feel about them. They are very mature and controlled in their life and their outlook because they're a king. So although they might not necessarily be physically old, they are like older in themselves and in their in the way they live their life. You know, that sense of someone that's 18, 20, 25, but they're middle-aged really, they're an old soul. So yeah, somebody very mature and warm and you know, entertaining and vibrant. So yeah, that's how they representative of a person. When I'm thinking about you, what you need to watch, and I'm thinking about the King of Wands, it really is about something to do with like management and upper management of a job, or your business, how you run your business, how you're managing your business. And what dreams are you following and making into a reality? It's a sense of manifestation with the King cards anyway, because they're at the top tier of, you know, they're the last card in the wands here. There's no more journey to go for the King of Wands. He's at the top. So this could be a project or a process, or just generally in your life you're sort of completing something, or you've got to the pinnacle of what you can achieve. And so that's what you need to look at. Have you done all you can do, or is it connected to your work and in your sense of relationships with the people that are higher up than you in your employment? And we've got the Nine of Swords. So, you know, you've got to look at your stress levels, your anxiety levels, your sleep patterns. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you constantly lying in bed thinking about it? Or more generally, can you not stop thinking about this? Whatever this thing is that you can't stop, you know, it's the thoughts of it are overwhelming you. You need to take control of that, really. Whether that's through just yourself and saying, I've got to stop having all these thoughts and words preying on my mind, and I've got to be the one on top of them, you know, in the sense like this, being on top of your thoughts and not you dominate your thought processes and what you say, and these anxieties and tensions and stresses, rather than them controlling you, which they are at the moment. And I do feel for a lot of you it's connected to work because of the wands and particularly these pentacles. So you've got to watch out for, and getting enough sleep and overthinking things as well. Some of you are really overthinking and keep badgering at something. You can't leave it alone, and you've got to, for your own mental well-being. We've got the Nine of Wands, so another 9, and this is, you know, you're just beaten up and tired. You've been fighting a lot of battles. You're constantly, you know, looking over your shoulder. You're not completely beat, you know, you're not overburdened, and you still got a bit of fight left in you and some energy. But I think you're coming to the end of the line in something. And so what you're being asked to look at is, are you sure you're at the end of the line? Are you sure that you're really ready to give up? Or actually whether there's any reason to give up because you're not thinking clearly. possibly due to lack of sleep, because you're overthinking it. You can't see things clearly at all because you've got all the negative stress, anxiety, paranoia even. So are you really at this point where you've got all the energy used up behind you and just one lone staff, one wand to cling onto when you know, had a blow to the head, to the ego, to your psyche, to you? Watch out for this, sense of being beaten. I think some of you, not dead on the floor beaten, you know, you got back up to carry on the boxing match, but some of you might be fighting a boxing match that doesn't exist. And we've got collaboration here, which is why, you know, it sort of reminds me over all of the workplace that a lot of you think that you're in a bad job, that things aren't going to work well for you. For some of you, there is a collaboration available for you, that in fact you're not turning to the people that you can turn to, that you're not turning to the people that actually are allies, that in fact there is something that you can create with another person or another couple of people that will bear fruit, and you need to pay attention to it, whether it's happening now or it's available in the world for you to grab hold of. But you know, you've got to deal with this stress. For those of you where you're thinking it's got nothing to do with work, I was talking about my friends, my family and my love life. In a way, the same applies. Are you being too ego driven and worrying because you're not in charge? You know, you want to be in charge of it all and you're not, and you're thinking, if I don't control it, it's not going to work out well. And this is why you feel battered and under attack, because you want to be in charge and you can't be, because you can't be in charge in a relationship. You've got to collaborate. And the same for a friendship and a family, particularly when it's like adults involved and not adults and children. That at some point the parent loses the child to adulthood, not like loses the child, but that they become grown-ups and responsible for their own behaviour and for what they do in life. And it's the same in a sense with relationships, that this other person you're with is another adult with their own lives and their own experiences and whatever, and you can't control them and their thoughts and what's going on in their life and then play the, you know, battered victim. You've got to collaborate with them. You know, some people here might feel they're the victim and you're being asked to check, are you? Some of you might come and say, yes, I am, but others are going to say, well, no, it's just I haven't got my own way. And you've got to look to the collaboration about building something together, things going well. There's some things in your life that are going really, really well, thank you very much, even though there's something that's not going very well. So don't neglect that and leave that to the side in pursuit of the things that are stressing you, and that, you know, you're getting a sense of that you might be not able to resolve it. Yeah, that's everything I see with this reading too. You've got to pay attention to collaborations, and yeah, it's this King of Wands. So as always, I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take a very good care of yourself. Oh, and if you can't control the stress levels, go to your doctor. We all need a little help, or a therapist, or find someone that you can talk to, that you can release this stress. And maybe that's it. You need to find someone you can talk the problem through with, so you can sort of get a clearer insight with someone that's not as well invested. And maybe for you, that's your King of Wands person, that you can talk to the King of Wands and get their insight and collaborate with them on dealing with the issue. There you go, that's the last thing I can see. Please let me know in the comment section if this resonates with you, if it makes sense to you and all the rest of it. As I said with the other reading, I always read the comments, and I do acknowledge, and I'm sorry, but I'm so terrible at properly replying to them and acknowledging them and sort of liking them and whatever, but I do read every single comment. So please feel free to leave me a comment with the securing the knowledge that I will read it. So yeah, take care and thank you very much for listening. Bye. Okay, those of you that chose option 3, this is your reading. Now these 4 cards represent what you should be looking at in your life at this time. I'm going to try and connect the 4 together as an overall story, but I will be reading them individually. So if 1 or 2 of the cards do not resonate, that's fine, just take their message and make sense of them. So we have, the High Priestess, the 7 of Pentacles, the Star, 3 of Wands, okie dokie. Okay, this is going to be the most useful piece of advice. What you need to pay attention to in your life at this moment is something you don't know. It's a mystery. With the other readings, when I've had cards that are quite clearly a person, I've described the person as well. And that's what I'm going to do initially with the High Priestess and the Star. I'm going to describe them as they would be if they were a person, because they could be someone in your life that you immediately go, oh, I know who that is. That sounds just like them. And the message is you need to pay attention to them. So if you haven't been in contact with them for a while, or maybe you've never considered them as someone that could not be contactable, but they could be helpful to you, or that you could be helpful to them at this time. You know, you might find out that they need you, or that you didn't realise it, but you need them. Okay, so the High Priestess is a learned woman. Oh, and I'm going to describe them as the gender on the card, but if you think it resonates with somebody that's a man that you know, trust that, trust your instincts. But it's somebody who's smart. They could read a lot. It's also known as like a librarian card. The sort of person with a secret knowledge, or a knowledge that they keep to themselves, and you sort of have to come forward to them in order to get the information. This is why I'm saying that some of you might find that they can help you with a problem. They usually are single, because it's a High Priestess and it's effectively like a nun. There might be somebody that's single in your life. They don't date much, or if ever. They tend to be someone that focuses on other aspects of their life, or you know, their sexuality isn't overt like the Empress. They're sensual and discreet. But yeah, a bit of a wallflower rather than somebody that's the life and soul of the party. But they are smart, and they always seem to know how to, they're a bit of a problem solver. Well-bred. And I think as a process, that's what you need to be. Perhaps look to what you know and what you don't know. That this, you know, this High Priestess can be very mysterious and elusive in many ways. They might be present and correct, but they're an observer, like of human nature and of spirituality and so on. So yeah, there's somebody that is a bit different to you, or you regard them as a bit different. Even if they don't fit this kind of how I've described them, you might just look at them and say, yeah, they're just different. They're just different. We also have the Star as a person, and again, I really do feel that for a lot of you this is a person, because the Star is someone, again, it's just this idea of purity, and it's spiritual purity, and they're like your shining star. So they're somebody that you like. Some of you have dreams, hopes and wishes about this person, that there's this sense that they're balanced, that they invest in the areas of their life equally. Like the woman here is pouring her water into the ground, and also the pond, the water. So she's invested in the practical aspects of her life, but she's also investing in her emotions equally. You know, this is somebody who's been through the rubbish, the tower moment, and has come out the other side, and not like reborn, but just sort of, I've been through the worst now, and I know I'll survive anything. Of course, they're nude, so there's a sense of that they are open to you, that you can see them clearly, that they don't hide from you anything, you know, their emotions, their thoughts, they're open to you. So there's somebody possibly that you know quite well. But again, there's this sense of mystery. So if you feel that both of these cards represent one person, that's fine. And you know, but that there's a sense of mystery and also untouchableness. Some of you might feel that you can't touch this person, that it's like the stars so far above you. You might put this person on a pedestal, some of you, because this sense of untouchability, they're unapproachable. But the message is to look to them, so they might be more approachable than you think. You know, the High Priestess isn't a cruel lady. She's just someone that keeps herself to herself, or himself to himself. They're not, you know, they're a bit quite mysterious because they don't let on what they're thinking. And the idea of a mysterious person that doesn't let on what they're thinking is so alluring, because what are they thinking? It's a mystery, it's curiosity. And are they thinking about me? And that question gets asked so many times for Pick a Card videos. What do they think about me? How do they see me? Because we're all curious about what another person's thinking, and particularly in regards to ourselves. So that's how I see possibly one person or two people. Somebody you might feel is untouchable, but you're being asked to look to them, and that could be just look to them to check to see if they're okay, to see if they can help you with something, because this problem solver type aspect, but also look to them as an inspiration, because the star is about being inspired as well and following a dream. So maybe they're doing something that you desperately want to do, and you're there to be, they are there for you to be an inspiration and an example. Okay, so I'm going to leave that as a person and now turn to these cards as a process for you. And so as a process for you, the High Priestess, I feel, is telling you about your intuition. Oh, the High Priestess is an intuitive person. She trusts her instincts. I forgot that. I knew there was something else. And I think there's something else about the star that I want to say, and I can't remember. So it'll probably come to me as I discuss the process. Sorry. But yeah, she's very intuitive. So you need to use your intuition. And intuition is a mixture of like your gut sort of subconscious telling you there's something wrong, but also our knowledge. And that's the High Priestess doesn't really have an arcane, mysterious knowledge. What she's done is paid attention, reads a lot, does a lot of research and investigation, and then just allows it to fester in her subconscious. So when you need to speak to the oracle can speak and answer your question. So there's something that you know that you need to find out, or just a piece of information you need to research and access. So you need to pay attention to, in a sense, something you don't know that you should be knowing. And that's really elusive for you because you don't know it. How are you going to know what to look for if you don't know? Well, it's something to do with an investment you've made, because both these cards are referring to making an investment and waiting for the return on that investment. So there's something you don't know about an investment, and that's what you need to look at. And you might need to turn to someone like the High Priestess in order to get that help. So someone like a professional researcher or investigator, someone who looks and delves into secrets and looks into paperwork and can understand it because they're smart. Seven of Pentacles. I feel that this is telling you to look at something that you have invested in, and this is a physical investment, so like your financial investments. For some of you who have that kind of cash flow to invest money in stuff, you need to look at it, to look to see what it's doing. It might just be simply that there might be a return on it due, or it's at a good point to harvest the crop. This is a good point for you to exit that investment. Others of you've just not been keeping on top of these investments, something that you've, like literally, you've planted the seeds. You've got to keep checking the seeds and checking for insects eating them, and, pruning away and making sure you're getting the healthiest crop and the best quality of fruits or vegetables or whatever. You've got to check this investment For others of you, you've got to carry on letting the investment mature without you. Because some of you might be overdoing the constant like looking into things and researching, and you're just, you know, leave it now and let it grow on its own and mature, and you can get on with something else. That's for some of you. But others of you knew immediately when I said about investment what you've invested in. And it's not always about your money. It's about your time, your energy, your physical craft. You know, like he's worked the soil, he's dug it over, he's dug in the fertilizer, he's done the back-breaking work of getting this crop off the ground. So some of you have worked really hard on something, and you either need to leave it to grow or you need to check on it because of this finding information. Some of you need to look at something that you have been wishing and hoping for. Maybe this investment. This is why I'm saying that for some of you this investment's ready, because you might have been thinking, oh, when's this, you know, going to come to me? For a lot of you it's coming soon, it's coming now, and it's ready and ripe in your life, and you're just not looking at it, so pay attention. And this can be emotionally, it doesn't have to be literally a physical thing that's coming into your life. Some of you people have really worked hard on yourselves, that you're getting rid of old fears, of the things that hold you back, that you've cut away and pruned away at the things that aren't any good for you anymore, and you're really rebuilding your new life and a new future for yourself and following your dreams. And so you're being told to pay attention to that, following this dream. So if any of you are having a moment of doubt, of crisis, am I doing the right thing? Should I be following this path? You're being asked to re-look at it and see if your investment is worth it. You're the only person who can judge that. You are the only one who can look and say, have I wasted my time so far? Should I carry on till the end or not? You know, it could be your own self that you need to delve deep into in order to find this answer. But remember what you've been aspiring to, what you've been wishing on a star for, what you've exposed yourself and revealed yourself for, emotionally, mentally. It's scary to come out and say, do you know what, I've always dreamed of singing opera. You know, I've always dreamed of opening my own restaurant. Because the moment your secret and deepest desires are exposed for all to see, there's a possibility someone will go, well, that's a waste of time because you're never going to do that, are you? And that's soul destroying when someone says that to you, because it's your dream. And the idea of our dreams not becoming reality is so painful that we don't take the risk. We keep them as dreams. So some of you are really being asked to look at that, because you're being asked to look out into the world. The Three of Wands, this card again of investment and looking out into the world to see what comes back to you, or just looking out into the world. Some of you need to look out of your small sphere of existence and look out to see what other opportunities are available. Again, for your investments, you know, is there something new that you can invest your time, your effort, your career, your working hours into, your emotions, your love, your friendship, your family? You know, some of you have really got to look out and see if you're making the best of things at this moment where you are. Are there better opportunities elsewhere? Looking up into the sky and seeing. Others of you, you really have invested in something like overseas or away from you, and again, you need to look to see. You know, I do feel there's the same resonance here. This merchant has invested the goods that he has made and put them onto one of these little ships. You can see he's put them on the little ship, and now he's watching to see the ships go out, and they'll go off to the other port. They'll be traded for exotic goods that are available in the other port, and they'll be returned to him, where we'll have possession of them, and he will sell the exotic goods at a profit. And that's his investment, looking out to see what can be invested and what can come back to him. And so there's that sense there of what's coming back to you and what can you invest out into this something at a distance from you. There's a different parallel here that this person has used the own energies, their own efforts in their own land, on their own doorstep. And I feel this is representative of what you've invested in yourself, and that you're waiting to see how it's going to pan out for you. This is investment in the external, out. You've invested out into something else, into someone else, or literally made investments in another land. Like you might be thinking of traveling there, looking out across the sea, to invest out of yourself. And that's what you need to look at. You know, you've got two major arcana cards here that are not the same, of course they're not, but there's a similarity. There's lots of blues and yellows. And then there's lots of like yellows and greens here. So it's about something to do with like the mind, the thoughts, and the reality, like the tangible. That's an interesting spread there. So I hope that it helps you, those of you that chose option 3. Please let me know in the comments section if it resonates and it does actually apply to your life. I've said with the others, and I'll say again, I am really sorry that I'm so poor at answering comments. I am very slow at getting logged in and liking and hearting and replying to comments, but trust me, I read every single one. I do read every single one, and I really do appreciate what you say. So I wish you all the best of luck for the future, whatever this represents. Please take very good care of yourself, and thank you very much for listening to me. Goodbye. Okay, those of you that chose option 4, here is your reading. So these 4 cards represent what you should be looking at in your life, paying attention to at this moment in time. So I'm going to read them all overall as one sort of story, but read them individually as well, so in case only a couple of cards resonate with you. So we have the Empress. That's nice. I like that. The 9 of Pentacles. Strength. And the 5 of Swords. So we've got like 3 yellow toned cards and 1 blue tone. Okay, so like 2 major arcana cards here. Now the cards that really clearly represent a person, I'm describing as a person, because the question is, what should I be paying attention to? And sometimes it might be a person in your life that you need to check up on, see if they're okay. You haven't spoken to them in ages, or they might be somebody that if you consider you have an issue or problem in your life, that you may be able to turn to them, or you might find out that they may have need of you. So the Empress, Empress comes across as mother. So it's somebody who is like a mother to you, a maternal figure. It's also somebody who's very abundant. The Empress is always somebody that is very much concerned with the environment. So let's going to extend that to a vegan in the modern day, or a vegetarian. Somebody who cares about the planet. Somebody who's very abundant in that they manifest their own destiny. They make real the things they want in their world. Because again, it's the Empress, it might be a pregnant lady in your life. Somebody, because the idea like she's got the egg and the sperm and she's making a baby with it. It's that they're taking something small and making something of it. So actually some of you might think, oh, I know somebody who takes something small, makes a mountain out of a molehill. Still could be them. But generally they're quite bright, warm, loving, comforting, maternal, welcoming, like it's lovely to go and see them in their home, have good gardens, grow their own vegetables and stuff like that. Sort of very grown version of the Queen of Pentacles. So yeah, just somebody like your mum, or you feel like she's your mum, or yeah. Again, it's another female card, but again, it could be a man. I've said all that it's about female. It could be a man that, like your dad, but he's raised you on his own, and you feel like he's a mother and a father to you, and nurtures you. That's fine. This is somebody who's independent, financially, emotionally, mentally independent. They can satisfy their own desires. They're completely self-sufficient. They don't need anyone. They're well provided for, and they just really look like they've got everything that they need. So you might feel that this is sort of the same person, that it's someone you know is self-sufficient and everything, but they still feel really maternal and warm to you and all the rest of it. So yeah, you might need to just check and look at them this while. And again, there's this sort of like, got a pet bird, a falcon. That's quite unlikely in today's modern world, but it might be someone with a pet. Yeah, I think this is just somebody that you look and they are so independent and self-sufficient. They possibly don't date. It's like a single woman, might be a single man. They're just completely content in their own world. I mean, we do have another one with strength. This is a strong person. Strong, and strong. They have control over themselves, their emotions. They can be patient and ride things out. They don't get stressed out or anxious or angry, or at least they don't give the appearance of that. This is someone that's gone through hardship and literally has become stronger because of it. The thing with the strength card is that people don't realise that when you look and you say, oh yeah, that's that person, they've usually got a pretty tragic story behind them that's caused them to become strong. I mean, you don't wake up and you're just really, really strong. Life forces this out of you. So they're experienced in life, and it's taught them how to master themselves. They have mastery over themselves, their fears, their addictions, their anxieties, their paranoias, all the negative thoughts. It doesn't mean they don't have them. They do, but they don't let it stop them. So in a way, they're quite brave and fearless. But yeah, there's just something... this just speaks to me that there's somebody really, really independent, and sort of in a sense you almost feel an untouchability, like I'm fine on my own, thanks. But they're really simultaneously quite nurturing and loving and welcoming and motherly, a mother hen or whatever, but really strong. You might feel that this is somebody you can't approach or come to, that they don't need you, but you're being asked to look to them, so they might actually need you. You just don't see that. As well with the strength card, because she's like taming the lion within. Also to describe as a person, they might be somebody who's really good with animals or involved in animals or cares about them. I mean, if we're going to go with the Empress theme, and I say like with a pet, they might be somebody who is really concerned about like the welfare of animals, either like literally as their job, or it's just a concern of theirs about animals. And there are a lot more people interested in that, because obviously planets heating up and a disturbing amount of animals are becoming extinct every day. So this could be just somebody that's concerned with that, because there's this sense of environmentalism. The person who always recycles and says, I'm going to, I think I said vegan, but then, there's, I'm going to be a vegan because I want to save the planet. For some of you. So I feel I've covered who that as a person might be, and I did have effectively 3 cards here that I feel could be representative of a person. I don't feel this does. So now what I'm going to do is, first of all, take a sip of water. Now I'm going to talk about this as a process, and so what you need to look at this time is what you're nurturing in your life, what you're manifesting in your life. What are you trying to turn into something real? What are you trying to grow within you, literally, or grow into your life? What seeds are you planting, and what are you hoping to reap? Are you going to reap what you sow? Are you going to be able to do that? Are you being kind to people? Are you being loving? Are you being considerate to them and their needs and so on? Look to the mothering aspect in you, or the parental aspect of yourself. Look to that. Look to what you're growing in your life. Because some of you are probably growing great things and you can look and say, yeah, I'm really happy. Others of you are nurturing growing things that maybe you just don't need to do, because some of you are nurturing your independence too much. Some of you are just being too independent. You've got to look to what you're growing in your life and how it's sustaining you. You know, this sense, I do wonder in the combination whether some people are invested too much in earning money, because the Nine of Pentacles is the rich woman who can provide everything for herself. So are some of you looking at your life and saying, well, I've got everything I need, but I'm alone. So you've got to look at what it's costing you in the long run, this independence, this financial independence. You know, and others of you, you've got to look at, are you financially secure? Are you investing in the right things in your life and making the right things grow in your life in order to be financially independent? Or are you focusing on the things that are never really going to bring you a return and provide you with this great life, which is to be aspired to be financially independent and self-sufficient? Are you being strong at the moment, or are you being too strong? Because sometimes you can be too strong and too rigid, too independent, too not letting anyone in. Some of you are not letting people in. And that's what you've got to look to. That you're sort of controlling your natural desires. I mean, he's the king of the jungle, even though they don't live in jungles, they live in like grasslands. But he's, you know, our primeval self again. It's not like the devil, but it's like the things in ourselves that we need to control in a civilized life, as well as, you know, our fears and anxieties. But are some of you controlling your fears too much? Because a little bit of fear is healthy, and fear is to be conquered, but there's nothing wrong with having a bit of fear of some things. But some of you are avoiding the fear through controlling it instead of confronting it. You know, that you're, some of you might not be nurturing the good things in your life, the good feelings and vibes. And that really comes through to me, again, with the combination of cards, that some of you are just holding too firm a grip on what you really want. Too firm a grip on what if this doesn't work? What if they hurt me? Or if I let them in and they're not what I thought, and I've gone through the trauma of letting someone close to me, or taking a risk on a dream, or whatever, or if I reduce my hours at work or stop taking the overtime, will I lose that financial security? You've got to look at that. You've got to look as well at your competition. This is a win at all costs card. This person, smug, satisfied, has won over at the expense of these two. He's got all the swords. You know, two are on the ground, he can't carry any more. It doesn't matter, they're not having them. It doesn't matter if he can't pick them up. Nobody's having them. He won them, they're his. So there's something where you will win at all costs, and you will have the final word, and you are going to be the victor, and you're being asked to look at that. Either to ensure it happens, some of you are going to need to win over this. Others of you, again, it's this sense with the strength of you're conquering something. Are you sure you're conquering the right thing for the right reasons? Are you really the winner? You know, because this sometimes can also represent bullying, that, you know, this bloke looks like he's crying and this one's, oh God, I've got to walk off. You know, they've got nothing and this person has everything. You know, I sense that most of the people here watching this video are like, I don't want to be the loser. No way. I want to be that person and that person and that person and that person. I don't want to be those two losers. But you're being asked to look at that, because some people are just over invested in being the winner, being in charge, being the boss, my way or the highway. I make the decisions. You do what I say, or not even as strong as that, but more it's a subtle flexing of your own independence, and nobody can say any otherwise to you. If you say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm spending my money on this, this is what I'm, you know. There's a lot of aloneness. Some of it could represent for some of you loneliness. But there's a lot here about not letting one in and battling them all off. These two men could have just wanted to be his friend, but he's like, no, 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 no. I'm the gaffer, as we say in Birmingham. I'm the gaffer. But some of you are holding too tightly onto something that you shouldn't be. What are you nurturing in your life? Is it too much independence? This is the overall vibe I see of these 4 cards. That there's too much control and independence here. And it's good to be in control of your own life and to the decision-making process, but not at the exclusion of caring about other people. This is why you're being asked to consider what you're nurturing and what you're nurturing in other people and investing in. Who are you welcoming into your garden to enjoy the bounty of your life? The Empress is someone that invites people round to her house, and she puts on a lovely spread. She's cooked the best food, it's delicious, everybody's got a lovely drink in their hand, and it's just everybody's having fun and the company's great, you know. And then she reveals that she grew all the vegetables in her garden and all that kind of stuff. Who are you letting into your garden, and who are you nurturing through your efforts? I'm not dismissing all the hard work you've put in and all the financial independence I suspect a lot of you have. I'm questioning what it's cost you, and are you sure that you are the winner? Are you sure that this control's worth it? Others of you are like, what are you on about? I haven't got a penny, I'm destitute and I'm lovely. So what you're being asked to do is consider the competition more and try and win more in order to have your financial independence. Take on a few more challenges. You are capable of beating the competition, and that could be simply getting a higher paid job. If it's terms of being in your own business, you can beat the competition or be a match for the competition and control your fears in doing so. Don't be frightened of that. But also finding the right employees in order to grow your business, or finding the right clients. You can do that. You have the capability to win out. You have the words and the thoughts you need in order to make a success of your financial independence, so that you can nurture and grow things in your garden. Yeah, I think that's it there for you, those of you that chose option 4. I think that's your reading. Please let me know in the comments section if it resonates with you. I do read all of the comments, and I do apologise because I'm so rubbish at answering them properly or on time. You know, it usually takes me a few days to get and properly read through things and do the little heart clicky thing and like and reply to them, but I always read all of them, every single one I read. So please be assured that I will read your comment. I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself, and thank you very much for listening to me. Goodbye.